Spring semester is a busy time on campus for any college senior as they juggle their final classes and struggle to find a job. For Ryan Simmons, that pressure is no different.
I definitely felt it, but it was kind of just something I put on the back burner and just wouldn't think too much about and just kind of enjoy what I was doing in the moment.
That pressure Ryan feels is not the pressure of just any Syracuse senior. He's the captain of the Syracuse men's lacrosse team. It's the stress of being the leader. Lacrosse is more than just a sport to Ryan. It's in his DNA.
I was kind of born into it, I guess, but I wasn't forced into it in any way. It's just naturally kind of grew up watching it and coming to the Dome a lot and being on the sidelines with my grandpa and my dad.
The Simmons name has been with Syracuse lacrosse since 1924, a year in which Calvin Coolidge was president. The 20s were rolling, and Ryan's great-grandfather picked up his first lacrosse stick, but certainly not his last. Far, far from it. Roy Simmons Sr. would then go on to coach more than 250 wins in 4 decades. And then in 1971, Roy Simmons Jr. would take over for his dad as head coach. It was a time when Nixon was president, the Vietnam War protests were at their height, and Simmons Jr. would lead the Orange to 6 national championships. Before long, Roy III was playing college lacrosse and then coaching here as well. The pressure was passed down with the passion, generation by generation.
Here I was, carrying the name of Roy III and the Simmons name, and it was difficult. I probably put more pressure on myself as much as anything.
The legacy to play and then coach here may seem simple. It's what the Simmons family does. But it's never expected within the family. Rather, a decision each would make on their own.
I was lucky enough to excel at fine arts. So I taught in the fine arts school for a few years. But somehow I felt like I wasn't giving it my all. So I retired from teaching in the fine arts school, regretfully, and I was in the office at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was doing, travel plans and practice plans and game plans and working very hard and diligently at the game I loved, and I became far more successful.
And I pursued my master's in counselor education and actually, was able to live out my dream. I became a high school counselor for a number of years until my father approached me right before he retired, and he said, "You're going to have one shot at this kid. Do you want to come back and coach?" After I had coached for a number of years with him. And ultimately I made the decision to come back to coaching and leave what was my identity and my dream and come back to coaching. And I haven't regretted it for a minute.
The only person I wanted advice from was my dad. I had great coaches growing up, but at the end of the day, the guy across the dinner table was the one I wanted to really impress, and his word was really the only one that mattered at the time.
And with the clock counting down, Ryan plans to do something beyond the family business, commercial real estate.
I'm kind of hoping it'll take me out west towards California. I've been there a couple times, and we have family out there. So we visited there, and every time I go, it's like a whole separate world. It's just so much fun. I kind of fell in love with it.
However, being a lacrosse coach is not completely out of the question.
Initially, I think I kind of got to do something on my own and kind of break from that for a little bit, and then maybe come back to the Orange path.
It's a path that might just extend the Simmons Syracuse legacy into another century. Tara Lanigan, NCC News.